Welcome back. I'm recapping your favorite films on this channel. Let's get started. We begin with the story of Lindy Lewis. Lindy Lewis had a tough childhood because her parents didn't pay attention to her. Her trauma got worse over time, leading to intermittent explosive disorder. Despite failed treatments and a stint in the military, her health didn't improve. Her psychiatrist, Dr. Munchin, came up with a treatment plan involving an electric shock vest to help her control her anger. Lindy goes on a date with Justin, trying to live a normal life. Despite a waiter's behavior, she manages to keep her cool until she overhears the waitress making fun of Justin. Lindy tries to use her invention to control herself. But it doesn't work, and she confronts the waitress. After physically mistreating the waitress and making a quick escape from the restaurant, without raising any alarms, Lindy brings the device to Dr. Munchin the following morning and asks him to fix it. While working on the device, Dr. Munchin asks about her date from the previous night. Lindy believes the date didn't go well because, once again, she ended up hurting someone. Despite repairing the device, Dr. Munchin emphasizes that the only long-term solution to her problem is to form a stronger connection with someone and encourages her to pursue a relationship. Lindy walks away without saying anything, even though she has no intention of contacting Justin again. However, she eventually calls him and requests a meeting. They get along well during their next encounter, and she even opens up about her passion for photography. They go to Lindy's house, and when Justin tries to kiss her, she becomes worried because she fears she might harm him too. Surprisingly, Justin discovers her concern but remains unfazed and spends the night with her. The next morning, Lindy receives a camera as a gift from Justin, which deeply touches her, and she expresses her gratitude. Reluctantly, she discusses her condition with him when he asks about it. She insists her medical equipment stay longer, but he needs to return to his office as an accountant. Before leaving, he asks her to have dinner at his place. Linda is thrilled by this unexpected bond and shares her happiness with Dr. Munchin. She thinks not using her camera the night before may not require her to do so this time. She spends the day taking pictures with her new camera after seeing the doctor. While getting ready for dinner, she receives a message from Justin saying he might be late. When she reaches out to him, Detective Vickers informs her that Justin has been killed. Lindy goes to the police station where Vickers and Detective Nian inform her that her boyfriend's lifeless body was found in a trash can. Feeling neglected, she decides to investigate on her own. She attends Justin's funeral, mourning his loss and reminiscing about the short time they spent together. She meets Dr. Munchin again, but this time she can't control her emotions, and he prescribes sedatives to help her calm down. When she wakes up, she tells him about Justin and her suspicions. Barry's only customer was responsible for the murder. Dr. Munchkin tried to convince her to let the police handle it, but Lindy was determined to take matters into her own hands. Despite his efforts to stop her, Lindy executed her plan and left the clinic after making a threat. Worried that she might hurt someone, he reached out to Detective Vickers to visit her at her place. She managed to slip into the building as he departed and took Justin's belongings from the evidence room. With Justin's address found in his wallet, she headed to his apartment to search for clues. While she was investigating, Vickers called her and expressed his disapproval of her actions. He mentioned that his partner wanted to arrest her, but gave her a chance as Nian was on her way. As Lindy hurried out, she encountered Nian at the entrance, who accused her of murder and intended to bring her to the police station. With Vickers still on the line, Lindy shared the phone with Nian, and after a scuffle, she grabbed Justin's McLaren and fled from the parking lot successfully. Vickers got in a car accident. She walked into a cell phone store the next day and pleaded with the manager to help her connect with a hacker. Lindy asked her to break into Justin's phone, so the manager introduced her to Andy. Andy started to suspect whether her partner was involved in illegal activities when she couldn't find any information on his phone. Lindy clarified that Justin was merely an accountant and that all his recent calls were from an arms dealer named Barry Crisari, who she believed was his only client. Lindy thanked Sandy and left with the car key, determined to track down Barry. When she reached his place, she found out that he had organized underground fights. She accused him of Justin's murder, but he remained tight-lipped. Barry proposed a fight against his 3 best men in exchange for the information she wanted, and she accepted. After beating all 3 men, they ambushed her in the car, but Lindy managed to fight back and overpower them. Barry finally caves and spills the beans to her, revealing that Justin was murdered by his boss, Gareth Fizzle. He goes on to explain that finding Fizzle won't be easy, as he's a powerful man and even the government is too afraid to go after him. Meanwhile, Detective Nian pays a visit to Vickers in the hospital to warn him about Lindy's violent history and anger issues. Just as Nian leaves, Lindy shows up and commends Vickers for the warning. She then drops the bombshell that she has found the murderer and urges Vickers to arrest Fizzle. Unfortunately, Vickers explains that they can't take action without evidence. Curious as to why Lindy is so determined to find Justin's killer, considering they barely knew each other. Vickers learns that he was one of the few genuinely nice people Lindy had encountered lately. Touched by her sincerity, Vickers reluctantly gives her Fizzle's address but strongly advises against going alone. Before they can make any further plans, Nian arrives and tries to arrest Lindy, leading to a brief escape yet again. Finally, Lindy arrives at Fizzle's office building. Delroy, the security officer, offers to escort her to his office, but instead, he knocks her down in the lift. He questions her about her hunt for Fizzle, to which she claims she is seeking justice for Justin's murder. Despite being delayed, he tries to spare her but ends up taking her vest and forcing her out of the building. In the car, Lindy frantically searches for her vest and urges the driver to stop. When he refuses, she ends up striking him, causing an accident. She manages to escape from the car and flees the scene. Upon recounting her adventures, she demands Dr. Munchin to develop another device. Returning to her flat, she realizes someone has broken in and planted a booby trap by the Fizzle men to kill her in an explosion. She disarms the trap, takes the device, and plants another bomb to fake her death. As she leaves the building, she encounters Vickers, who wants to arrest her for her safety. However, she manages to vanish once more when her flat explodes, distracting Vickers. After Fizzle tells her to leave it to the authorities. Lindy, on the other hand, thinks they won't arrest him and ignores his concerns. She continues with her plan and makes her way to the Fizzle office building, but gets caught again by Delroy. He takes her to Fizzle, who confesses to killing Justin and many other innocent people. Lindy struggles to control her anger, but Delroy hits her on the head and knocks her out. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied to a chair. Lindy manages to escape and attacks Delroy, forcing him to reveal the location of Fizzle's secret office. She then faces other guards and a battle ensues. Lindy finally reaches the workplace, defeating the security officers along the way, only to discover that Fizzle has already been killed. Justin enters the room before she can process what happened. Lindy can't believe her eyes as she witnesses his burial. Justin explains that he is a CIA agent who used her to get to Fizzle, as they didn't want to directly involve themselves. He reveals that Dr. Munchin had recommended her because he works for them and his research is sponsored. Justin uses an electric shock to torture her, but the equipment no longer works on her because she has become resistant to it. Lindy retaliates by throwing her bag at him before fleeing the building. Justin doesn't understand her motive, and a bomb explodes, killing him. Lindy confronts Dr. Munchin after fleeing from the building and accuses him of manipulating her for his gain. He apologizes and claims he was unaware of Justin's plan. Vickers and Nian come to discover Lindy pressing Dr. Munchin to the wall as they dispute. Initially, they fear she is attempting to murder him and shoot her in the leg, but they soon understand she is handcuffing him to hand him over for arrest. Vickers admires her determination. After transporting her to the hospital, both of them assisted her in covering her tracks. They returned her device, which they had confiscated in the ambulance. Vickers asks Lindy out, and she agrees to think about it. Lindy returns to her old flat to collect her stuff after healing from her injuries and being discharged from the hospital in the closing scene. A mysterious lady visits her, but it turns out she's Justin's senior. Lindy has been closely watched for years. In the woman's words, they aim to harness her anger to take down the villains. Thanks for tuning in. If you're a new viewer, make sure to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, take care and have a great day.